A very warm evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session on developing dynamic resources for school library. I am Akhila and I will be moderating today's session. As we all know, school libraries plays a vital role in supporting the curriculum and fostering a love for reading among students. However, with the ever-changing educational landscape and advancement in technology, it is essential for school libraries to stay updated and dynamic. Today, we will explore the importance of collection development in school libraries. The resource person will share his expertise on why the collection development is important, how we are going to do it, the various policies, and what are the various resources that is going to help us in developing dynamic collection for our vibrant libraries. We are fortunate to have with us Mr. G. Aruna Kumar, a seasoned librarian for over 25 years of experience in library science. He has set up libraries for CBSE, Cambridge, and IB curriculum. He has been working at CIREC International School for nearly 20 years. Thank you, Aruna sir, for joining us today. On the behalf of SLA India, I welcome you for enlightening us on today's topic. Without further ado, I would like to invite Sir to take the stage and share his insight on developing dynamic collection development. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Akhila and SLA for giving me this opportunity. And I know that all the librarians are are knowledgeable and are resourceful. But the reason why I joined today, as Akhila said, I wanted to share my thoughts on this because my experience always helped me when I share my experience with others, and at the same time, people give me feedback that help me a lot in improving myself. And let me just share with you the presentation so that we'll start quickly from there. Okay. Okay. I hope everybody is able to see my presentation, or
Not
No,
yet,
sir.
sir.
No, sir.
I think you need to give me presentation permission.
It's it's given. It's given, sir.
It's given? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 second then.
I think Akhila ma'am, please unpin sir. Then screen will be visible. I think.
Uh, Sir, now you can share the screen. Sir, you are on mute.
Yeah. So I think Google Meet is already sharing the screen, so I'm not been able to get in that.
Acha,
That is the problem.
Titiksha, please. No, sir, Titiksha, stop sharing.
I have stopped already.
Okay, I'm just trying again, so don't worry. I'm just sharing again.
No, sir, otherwise you mail me the presentation. I can share it on my hand.
Okay. So just give me a second.
Sure, sir, sure.
If Darshana has it, if Darshana can share it, she has it.
Have you sent to me, sir?
I sent it to.
When?
Sorry, Nina. Oh, sorry. I sent it to Nina and Darshana also. Darshana, I sent it to you also.
Today?
Yeah.
Sir, just try it again, sir. Please, once again.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I will share it then.
Nina is here. Nina
Yeah.
can share.
I am through my phone
I will share
because
it.
of Alexa.
Yeah.
Or else you can share with me, I can share, no problem.
They made you host again.
Okay, just 1 minute. I'll just share with Titiksha. That will be better instead of
Yeah.
we running around. So meanwhile, I'll just start talking about it.
Yeah.
So what happens is any library, whatever the curriculum it may be, we better have a policy because each school has their own way of um, presenting their educational to the children or students or whatever stage that they are in. Since we are talking about schools, I will talk about only school curriculum, whether it is IBs, Cambridge, or IGCSE, or state curriculum. All of them will have only one philosophy, that is making a child a good learner and then get into the world. That is the basic idea of any school, irrespective of curriculum, or getting into the world well prepared. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Is everybody able to see the presentation,
Yes,
please?
yes,
Yes,
yes.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay, great. So now, if I go to this, can you please share the first one? What after this, please?
1 minute.
Yeah.
Because I have to admit, somebody will take care of admission, okay? Diksha?
Yes, no problem. You go on.
Yes.
Now, what I'm going to talk about today in this session is it is going to deal with the presentation. What I'm going to talk about today is what is the need of resources. Number one. Number two, are there any policies that will help us in doing? See, any policy, for example, school will have lots of policies. For example, you will have management side, how to get procure things, and also how a library should be running. But within all those policies, where the library is standing, library can't be independent of the school or independent of the organization. Library is part of the organization. So what we need to do is when we are developing a policy, we need to just check what is the philosophy of the school, what is the general rule of the organization. Then we need to fit in that. See, for example, if I take my school talks about the whole child development. So when I am developing a library policy, I have to deal with the whole child policy. What does it mean by whole child policy? What are the skills that one needs to be taking care of for the benefit of a whole child development? So within that, then I need to formulate a library policy within which I need to talk about what are the library guidelines, what are the way that I will arrange the library, what is the way that I will manage the library, budget and procurement. And if I procure what is the way? Because the school will have lots of things procuring. So I can't just straight away go and then say, I want this, I want this. There might be a policy in the school of any organization, I'm talking now irrespective of the curriculum that we are dealing with. KVs will have their own policies of the school running or the organization running. Or if IB school, they will have the way they do deal with the procurement in different way. But within that school, every school will have a particular policy. We need to run that along with how to get library in that perspective. We need to see it. Then Darshana, I can't still see the presentation.
Can't see?
No, I don't see it.
I'm sharing it.
Shared, but Darshana, it is not shared. Shared, but again it went out.
Oh. Coming?
Yes.
Yes.
How it
Oh,
gone?
yeah. Okay, now this session is going to talk about the policies and the resource types and the strategies, and also certain resources that I come across in general. I'm going to share with them, and then finally we'll have Q&A. If we get more time, then we'll spend more time on that. So now, if you go to the policies, see, as I was talking before the presentation started, that every school will have, every organization, we are part of it, will have a policy in general. Then we need to cut a little bit of piece of it from our library side. What are the things we just can't get away from general organization? I can't just say that my library, so I will do the way I want. No, it has to be part of our organization. As I said earlier, that in my school we have a philosophy, we have certain guidelines. I will see all those guidelines before I formulate a library policy. And this can't be just like that. See, for example, my school is for more than 35 years. So what happens is, in every 5 years we try and then regulate certain policies, and then we generally share with the management, and then we get some feedback how to, are there any particular things, and then we go. For example, last time we did policy development procedures formulated was 2022. So because I see it as a part of, because IB, for that matter, any curriculum, even CBSE have 5-year evaluation, right? Now IB has 5-year evaluation, but every curriculum has their own formulation of evaluation process when they come to see the organization, right, for the school. So we generally keep in touch with the, for example, IB has 5-year evaluation where certain subjects will keep changing over a period of time. So I need to formulate, for example, now we need to add now AI as well, because AI is the latest development. So our library policy also should have certain aspects of AI, ChatGPT, because we need to talk about the generally academic fairness, academic integrity, that we generally call it as. So we need to formulate that policy as policy, part of policy of library, but that is to be in coordinates with the general policy guidelines that our school philosophy gets into. So that's how we need to take in. So now I am going into, so now I said earlier, can you please share this next, Darshana? Next slide. Okay, I was just talking about the policy level, policy document, what it should contain. What it should contain? It should contain every detail of the library function. Where you take it library guidelines, you take it weeding policy, you take it procurement policy, you take it how we integrate the curriculum into our library day-to-day activities. Every detail should be part of it. One part is the acquisition, which is we talk about in terms of, and I think, can you please, all of you, mute those who are not presenting, please? Yeah, thank you. So now what happens is, when we are dealing with both acquisition and as well as the collection, we need to be very, very, very careful. For example, in collection development, what are the things that you need to check in? For example, we need to check our, as I said earlier, anytime when we talk about library policy, please make sure that you need to check both mission and goals and philosophy of the school that we are part of, and the curriculum which we are dealing with in our school. Both the things have to be dealt in. And when I just go a little bit ahead this side, now most of the schools will have now NEP as well, right? Earlier, Mr. Faisal has taken over us to the entire how the NEP, etc., etc. So, what are all the things that we require? This is because we are part of now NEP. We can't get away with it, right? Because it is part of our day-to-day life in general, in particularly when we talk about school. So what are the things that we require? Like, for example, if people are getting into the NEP, then we need to deal with the local language, number one, and the what all the things, like, for example, literacy, both general literacy as well as financial literacy. What are the things requirement for that, for doing those activities within this curriculum? What are the collections that we need to improve in our library to support those things, whether it is a teacher, whether it is management, whether it is a student who comes in to check in for those kind of resources, both physical as well as digital resources. See, there are certain things, like, for example, if you take NCERT and CBSE, they have abundance of resources in their websites. You just go through and then check them out. They will keep on extending all the time. So see, some of them may be good for you. For example, if you are following CBSE or state curriculum, some of them will be part of your will be dealing with NCERT books as well.
Arun sir.
Yeah.
Can you share it again from your end? Just try once again.
I will try. Yeah.
Darshana, you may stop it. Try it
Yeah,
once
I'm just
again,
sharing again. Yeah, I'm just trying again. Just give me a few minutes, please. Sorry for this.
Yeah, please.
No, you can't. Again, it's sharing that you can't share.
Can't share.
Yeah. These again telling me that you can't share. Okay, no. No, same thing coming, Faisal, that you can't share the screen.
Okay, no problem. Others will share, no problem.
Yeah.
Darshana, please. Or Akhila.
Yes, sir. I can mail me the PPT, sir.
Okay. I'll just mail it to you, so don't worry. So meanwhile, just give me a second, please. Akila, give me a
Titiksha can share. I shared it, Titiksha.
Okay, so I'll just send it to everybody, so don't worry.
Or else I will share it.
Titiksha and Akila.
Did you share with me, sir?
Yes.
I shared already, Titiksha.
Yeah, I sent it to both of you.
Darshana, you shared only reply one. Can you reshare it?
Yeah, I shared again, Titiksha and Akila also, both of them. Okay, so without wasting the time, I will just continue with the policy. Now, I already said why library policy document should be there, because it will help us, number one, for the both development of our library and also smooth running of the library as well. Otherwise, we go here and wide, and it is going to confuse both the people who are users as well as the management. So for that, we need to have a policy document, which, as earlier I said, should have all these things, every minute aspect of the library of running. Both activities need not be all the things that we do, but it should say that all the activities that we are doing should be running along with the guidelines and the goals and philosophy of the school that we are part of it. Right? So now when we are preparing a policy document, we need to first of all go through all the, for example, if one is dealing with CBSE or IB, here comes a little bit of deviation, because each school, whatever the curriculum that they are following, they will have certain guidelines. Suppose if you are CBSE and school, then the CBSE have got a whole around literally around 100 pages of a document that deals with the library, right? And also they also get along with, regularly send it across certain contents for how library should be running and all those things, right? You will have a manual given for you for example, if the school is setting up along with the guidelines of a CBSE. The same way, IB, though they don't, any library can have as a part of IB, though whether it is a CBSE or IGCSE. Yeah, I can see it right now. Yeah, thank you. Can you please share the third, the next one session include next one? No, not before that. Before that. No, no, no. Before that. Before that. Before types. Before types. Yeah. Thank you. Got it. Thank you. Done. So now what happens is, as I was saying, so for example, IB will have, before setting up IB library, like they will give you guidelines. They have a guidelines in the IB International Baccalaureate Organization. The way we have CBSE or NCRT, they have resources block wherein anybody can join in. For example, if you are part of IB school, then you will be given login facility through your school, where you can join in, meet people, and then get along with those documents that are how a library should be set up. So you take those guidelines, take your school philosophy, and then maintain a policy document. Then it has to be going through our entire school. For example, whoever is immediate supervisor to you, whether it is principal or CEO or general manager, whatever, whoever is responsible for the library in your school, then they will check through all those things, because it is not supposed to deviate from, because when, for example, if I'm dealing with IB, then they will generally come and then see the all the policies that are existing. For example, academic honesty policy, whether general management or profile management, etc. All these policies, whether are aligned with your library policy. So very carefully this has to be drafted, and then once it is finalized, then it can be put it to the whole school for the benefit of having a glance at it, so that we don't deviate from that. Well, we need to cross check once in a while. As I said earlier, that every 5 years they will have an inspection or evaluation committee coming from IBO. For example, if it is an IB, or each curriculum has their own way of evaluating libraries. They do come. So we need to see whether we are aligning with the development that are happening. For example, if your school is not taking into consideration NEP, your library policy is done long ago, then please cross check whatever the NEP that is following, whatever the guidelines that is given in the NEP, whether you are following them or not. You just need to explore those things in your library document, right? So now I already spent more time on document. So this is a lifeline for the library, as simple as that. Everything that you do should have a policy backed by it. Whether it is whether you are throwing, even for example, I generally keep newspaper for a month, and then before discarding, I will share it with the teachers, because some of the teachers do take the newspaper for doing some activity within the class, right? So before I do that, I throw them out, or before I discard, or before I send it from recycling, I generally cross check with the other team members before I take any action. That has to be put it in across on the paper before I do, right? So these are the things that we need to be careful before we get into the aspect of collection development. Collection development is need to be taken care of from all these perspectives. Now, can you please share the next one, please? Yeah. What are the, see, all of us know that there are physical and digital resources, right? All of us know. Now, can you please share the next one, please? Okay, so when we are talking about both physical or digital resources, we need to be considering all these things: fiction, non-fiction, reference, curriculum, and non-curriculum, right? For example, see, each school has a way of dealing with these resources. For example, there are lots of databases that are available. For example, most of the organizations are taking textbooks as a part of online procurement, because many, for example, if you are I'm talking about international curriculum wherein Oxford and harder or there are certain publishers who are going online, because producing physical textbooks is becoming a literally updating becomes a problem. So what they are doing it, customizing the for example, if my school is having certain subjects as a part of IB, they will only upgrade those kind of books and then sell it to us, something like that. So the updation only becomes online, so they will give whatever the update that are happening, those files they'll share with the school that they are procuring for the textbooks. That will help in most of the time. uh, and I think, Miss Chaitali, can you please mute yourself, please? Yeah, thank you. So, for example, fiction, most of the publishers are, for example, for reading program sake, they are giving different kind of varieties of books in certain um, branches. For example, if you take Oxford Reading Tree, right? Even Cambridge has a reading program for younger ones. So what they do is they'll have both fiction, non-fiction titles, which will be given as a part of a group. So they will have both digital as well as physical resources. And of course, references, most of the time we do keep certain books as a part of physical. Some resources they do ask for digital resources. And in fact, if I'm right, most of the schools are getting digital resources, because NDLA is sharing with them most of the resources where one can join and then take resources from them. And in fact, most of the NEP, if I'm right, NEP is also looking for those kind of resources in the each library, right? And again, when we talk about curriculum, for example, I talk about even if it is CBSE or any other curriculum, but both the textbooks will have certain references as an attachment to the textbook. For example, activities, what are the activities that you are doing as a part of curriculum, will have certain books exclusively given. For example, lab manuals, right? Or the maps, for example. All these things are part of your curriculum. Mostly textbooks will do deal with, but NCERT and CBSE have their own digital products, right? And there are suppose if there are international curriculum, some of the publishers, as I said earlier, Oxford, Cambridge, and Collins, even for example Harder, which is now renamed as a hashed group. Now all these publishers are trying to sell digital textbooks so that becomes easy for them to update the curriculum, whatever the resources that are added. They'll have teacher resource as a part of it. They will have activity sheets within that. And in digital resources, what's happening is, for example, Harder has something called Boost, which is an online platform, which is, of course, it is paid subscription based, which will have all the resources. For example, if you are taking a textbook of Harder, they will have a little bit of subscription amount for that, wherein anybody can suppose if a school is taking subscription of that particular syllabus, for example, if it is accountancy, they will give exclusive resources for that particular subject of all the resources that are produced as a part of Boost platform of Harder. Even Oxford is doing the same thing. So teachers no need to go for extra work, but they can just take the resources from those people, which will be free if you are taking a subscription. Of course, it is subscription based platform, all these things. So of course, non-curriculum, which will be mostly what you call our entertainment part, leisure reading, or anything related to our development of well-being, right? So all these things are part of your resources, both physical and digital. Some of the books went for keeping in our library, and also if you are going for all these resources for the sake of, if your schools have laptops or digital platforms in your school. For example, if my school uses digital panels, so we are using Outlook, MS Outlook. So we take MS for the sake of panel connected with that. So all our resources are put it in a drive. For each member is given certain amount, because our school is part of our MS Office right now. So Office 365 right now we are using. So we are connected using the panels connected to Office. So we can straight away take from any resources that are shared or created as a part of MS Office 365. Then we do use it in the classroom. For example, if I'm doing something activity in the library, I have a panel in the library wherein I share all those things with the students when they come to class. Both whatever that I use, even for example, I can straight away, of course all of you know that Canva uses any kind of Office, Google or Office or normal mail, but I use from school of mail, so that I'll get more resources from there. So I'll share with the students. Students do create certain resources, and then they do share with us. So it helps in our day-to-day life in the library. Now, when you go for more of digital resources, for example, we have movies, and we have also, see, for example, when I say movies, there are both subscribed and non-subscribed areas. See, for example, you have JSTOR databases. We have EBSCO databases, which is part of, because we are part of IB curriculum. We sometimes we use EBSCO. We subscribed EBSCO for a couple of years, and then now this year we started JSTOR, because some of them felt that EBSCO has a limited resource in certain aspects. So right now we are using JSTOR. So wherein you will get lots of resources from there. See, since I said audio visual materials, because if you are part of IGCSE or IB, we have a listening as a part of evaluation, speaking as a part of evaluation, both for literature as well as languages. So we need to have our audio visual resources, wherein students need to get evaluated using those things. For that, we need to have recordings, which with recording facilities, which we have kept it in the library, mostly recording area, whatever the infrastructure that is there. So all these things are the resources that we do get, both in physical as well as digital perspectives. So now when I'm talking about other than all these things, school mostly will these days are taking care of social and emotional learning, and they do talk about well-being. We have olympiads that happening in the schools, and then we have writing contests happen outside, and there are clubs that will be a part of your school or your library, right? You need to have resources containing connecting to all these aspects. See, ACL was not part of quite long. We just started a couple of years ago, so which is very, very prominent now. Now every school will talk about school social and emotional learning, right? Well-being. Both of them are almost all on the same length, but there are certain differences. We don't need to go into that. But resources are to fulfill all these aspects, which may not be directly into the curriculum. Of course, many curricula are planning to get into their syllabus about this SEL as well as well-being. So we can't ignore all these aspects anymore, right? We need to have resources for all these aspects, both physical and all as well as digital resources. There are amazing resources outside, so which I'm not going to more into details, but I will just only share a couple of resources that I felt are in general that can be of any part to anybody. So I'm just going to share a couple of resources right now. After that, I'll quickly go through certain resources that I felt very comfortable. uh, can you please share the next Slide, please. Akila or Darshana. Next slide. Oh yeah. Okay. So what are the strategies that you can consider for bringing out good collection into your library? So first of all, as I said, you need to have everything in your library as long as it is useful for your library in terms of helping your curriculum getting along smoothly, right? So now, for example, what are the strategies that I generally get along? Like for example, every year I'll keep one register for people those who like writing. So I keep one register on my table. Always it will be there, whether it is teacher, student, anybody can write whatever the resource they want to be procured for the library. I always tell them it doesn't matter. You just write down whatever information you can give it to me. Write it there. If you are comfortable with writing your name, I'll be very happy. But if you are not comfortable, it doesn't matter. Just leave your name. So I generally put all these whatever the suggestion that come in an Excel sheet. I'll keep always maintain one Excel sheet. Whenever I take resources from there and then send it for procurement. Now, before sending it for procurement, I'll check whether all the details are available. At the same time, suppose if I'm sending, say, 2000 titles from that particular list, I will remove those. I don't remove, but I'll either color code differently, or I will say I have sent it for procurement in a column for remarks. Suppose if it is procured, then I will say that it's already procured so that it won't be any duplication later. There are certain books which can be duplicate. For example, if it is Harry Potter books, there are heavy load of suggestion for that books and demand for that. So I don't mind if I get more extra copies of Harry Potter series. I don't mind, but I will try and then reduce certain books which are not in very much demand, but still there is a demand. And so I'll just prepare all those lists, and I generally keep all these lists and then see, for example, we start procurement from December to March. So all this background work will happen because the entire school needs to be done, and we have a procurement department different. So I need to collect all these things and then send it. So I'll start doing this work, though I do keep doing entire year, but the entire process I will start from September to December, so that people will get some time to. I keep sending them lists. I keep sending them asking for suggestions. Whatever it is done, then I will just put them into a list, and then I'll send it across for the approval. And depending upon the budget, I will see whatever. See, we'll have. Luckily, I don't have a problem of a budget so far. So far, all these years, I never had any problem with the budget. This doesn't mean that we over no step on that, but we still keep track of what is happening with from the procurement. So we generally keep some budget for the digital resources, because digital resources are far more expensive than physical resources. So we generally keep certain amount for separate for subscriptions and all those things separate, and then books and then periodicals separate. So I generally keep everything track, and then we'll send it to the procurement department. From there, procurement department will try and then get as many as they can, and then once they get, I'll that can be done as a part of a different webinar. Maybe we don't need to go into it. That processing, anybody, all of you know, so I don't want to get into that aspect. Now, see, we get lots of publishers sending the catalogs. Otherwise, also we have lots of publishers on the cloud now, or even on the net, or even on social media. You can find all the publishers keep sharing their resources. You just go through their see, depending upon your resources, depending upon your curriculum, depending upon your what are the interests that your school goes through, then you can follow them. See, for example, if I am looking for Telugu books, Hyderabad got lots of good resources. For example, we have a publisher who does very good Telugu books, and we don't have any dearth of resources in Telugu. Of course, we have in Pradham, we have Tulika also publishing, but I try getting books from local people, local publishers, because their books I felt are far more advantage to me, because I can read them and then check it out if there is any problem with those books. But luckily, we have got very good publishers in Telugu, and then who are also translators. And also I get to know them very well because I keep talking to them, so I get resources from them also. So I'll like those kind of resources I'll add into my resources whenever it is possible. See, for example, the same way Hindi also got very good publications in different parts. Of course, NBT and CBT, those who are following NBT or CBT, you will know that lots of good resources are there, both Hindi, and of course they have wide variety of range of books, but I try getting Hindi books from them as well. Of course, we have lots of other publishers, for example Ektara, Eklavya, who got amazing resources in their stores. So I'll get those things and then I share with the teachers. And I generally collect, if it is possible for me, I generally collect physical, because teachers sometimes do get time. They want to look them and then, take them rather than going into net. So I generally share with them the catalogs. They do tick them whatever it is, and they cross check with me whether I can get one book so that they can have a look at those books and all. And we have social media wherein, see, one good thing about internet is that I always say that it is net provides abundance of resources. For example, social media, you have authors online all the time. You have authors sharing their upcoming books, or whatever the reviews that they find about their books, or details about the particular books or their sessions. Some of the authors do come online and then share. For example, authors do go for authors visit. For example, most of the particularly at least 5 cities in India will at least get prominent authors of both children's as well as adults. They do have mostly from September to Jan to Feb. They will have tours happening in India. For example, David, as I'm speaking, David Walliam is in India, who's very popular among children. For the first time, if I'm right, he's coming to India. He has already started visiting certain cities. Right now, he's in Chennai, and he's going to other parts in couple of days. So they do come across. If you are part of that particular city, if it is availability is there for you to go around that particular time, place, then it will be good to go and interact with them and then find out, and also get some first-hand information about particular certain books. Because what happens is, for example, parents may be uncomfortable with certain titles, certain cover pages, right? We can't get away with all those things, please, but we do need do it to respect. But if we have a first-hand information about all those things, maybe we can talk to the parents or talk to the management before getting those resources, so that we can avoid wastage of our budget on particular resources, right? Now, of course, suggestion from users will always help, and also they'll feel good about that. For example, if a child asks for a particular book, if we get that particular book, if it is suggested book is good, then if you are procuring it, the child will be very happy. The user will go around and telling people that, see, I suggested a book. So it will also have some peer effect among other people, other students also. It doesn't matter whether it is a younger user or older user, doesn't matter, as long as it is. And please be careful when we are telling it to the children. I generally tell very honestly that I am going to get information from you, and then try. There are certain limitations for me, for example budget, and also it has to be approved by the committee, etc., etc. Tell them honestly, they'll be happy with it. And then if suppose if a budget and then approval is done, then you get that book, the child will be very happy, the user will be very happy, and he will become your he will send the word about the library to everybody. So we don't need to do PR anymore. Those users will make PR for us, right? So these are the things that I generally do. And most of other things is I generally read books before I get to the library, so that I'll have first-hand information. And that also helps me when interacting with the children, why I got this particular book to the library and all those things. Then my what happens, the respect towards me has increased over a period of time, because I do talk to the children and I tell them these are the good books that are available. Almost 80% of it worked so far. I'm happy for that reason. Now, can you please share the next slide, please? Akila or Darshana, who are sharing, can you please share the next slide? No, before that, yeah. So some of the resources that I generally use, and these are not huge. There are very few, because I don't want to spend more time on this. But if I get time, probably by next week, I will share a couple of resources with the group, so that you don't need to worry about it. So of course, everybody knows that there are some of them are free resources. So I just shared both subscription based and free. And the story weaver, of course, everybody knows, all of you might have already used, wherein you can put your own resources. You can also take resources from there, mostly all types of resources, including STEM stories. And there are amazing stories, and I know that couple of our members also contributed to the story weaver, right? And then I have shared couple of stories with the children as a part of reading day. They really enjoyed. So I think you can use that. Only login is important. So you can also contribute to the stories there. You can also translate. There are amazing things that happen. Please explore any resources that you find. I always do one thing, that I do try and then explore certain resources, whatever I find, so that you will have control over the particular resource that you are sharing. And of course, as I said earlier, National Digital Library of India, a very good initiative, where the people, resource persons in the digital library, are very enthusiastic. They do share their resources. They do help us in case we get into trouble. And if your organization supports you by being a member for the entire school, that will be of really immense help, because they do also help for getting a resource person online most of the time. If they are available around, maybe they will visit also. Most of the time online, because I am away from those people, far away. So they do are very helpful people. They do support. So whenever there is a query, we can get in touch with them. They do keep in touch with us. So they have free registration. And also, if you are very resourceful person as well, they do also help, give more help to you people, right? So of course, one resource that I talk about in terms of literature, in terms of fiction and non-fiction or translation around the globe, this is called Global Literature in Libraries Initiative. They got amazing resources. They have a resource, I could say, a treasure trove of resources, particularly related to literature, any kind of literature, whether it is translation, whether it is first hand or non-fiction, or resources useful from other areas. They do have amazing resources. Please try and then have a look at that global literature initiative. And EBSCO and JSTOR, some of them are free, but for schools also they developed lots of resources, but they are a little bit expensive. So depending upon your budget, maybe you can go ahead in case your organization supports. Now Oxford, I said earlier, Oxford and Boost are mostly based for international curriculum, and they will have paid resources. So you need to be careful when you are looking into those resources. Okay. Now again, Follett. Follett is for exclusively for IB curriculum. They have amazing resources. They do conduct also webinars. And again, at the end, Parag Reads is very, very, very good resource that started a couple of years ago. You can find there both for Hindi and English, for across the age groups. Whether it is picture book, whether it is young adult books, you will find good resources there. At least if I'm right, 2020 onwards, they started collecting books for lists. for the libraries mostly. So these are some of the resources that I find interesting, and these are not ultimate, please. I'll try and then share more resources maybe next week in the group once I collect them together in one area. Okay, so that's it. And then very quickly I'll share a couple of, because we are running out of time, so I'll quickly go through a couple of books which I felt are good. Can you please share next? Darshana or Akila, can you
Uh,
please? Can
yes,
you
yes, sir.
please?
This is the next slide.
Yeah, art matter. See, this is the book that talks about that deals with various aspects of, including library and librarians, which got amazing quotes by Neil Gaiman. So this is a must for any library, which is cost is very small. So maybe you can have one. So next please, Akila. Just quickly go through that, no problem. Children's books, this is a very good title, which is a compilation of various people involved with the books, particularly kids level. Try and then get it. This is a little bit expensive, but try and then get it, because this will give you a whole lot of perspective for librarians. At least academics, anybody can read, doesn't matter, but that gives a little bit of perspective for enriching librarians' view towards books and how one can develop that library in a good way. So try and then get it if you can, if the budget helps. Next, Akila. Akila, next. Okay, so this is a set of books started by People's Archive of Rural India, which deals with rural people from rural areas, and for that gives the urban kids perspective about rural villages and then the rural communities. Amazing books meant for 10-year kids. This is again developed by Karadi. Karadi, everybody knows, so I'm not going to go into detail about it. So next, Akila. Akila, next. Okay, so this is again this is by P. Sainath, who's a journalist who works right now, and this particular book deals with the people who are unknown to regarding Indian freedom movement. The people who are we generally know people who are widely known outside, but these are the people who are unknown. So he compiled a list of people, and what he did is this is actually original textbook, text oriented book, but this is for the sake of children. They made into a graphic book, a very well written book, maybe a little bit for middle school onwards. So next, Akila, next please. Okay, now this particular book deals with the empathy, and this is good. It also got certain aspects which one can use it in the library. So this I am talking in terms of empathy, so which is part of well-being. Okay, next. Okay, now this particular book is a collection of letters written by various people who are very prominent people put together. This is pretty expensive, so unless and until you get as a gift, you don't need to buy. So this book has letters on one side and illustration on the other side by various artists, done by an amazing resource to initiate children to read, be curious. So this is my copy, so I generally share whenever I am trying to get this book to library, but of course certain books you don't find so easily. Yeah, next please. Okay, so one is we missed one before that. Yeah, so this particular book I generally use it for clubs or people who say that I want to write. So this book is, as the book says, that very good tips by Ruskin Band, and very well written book. Any age group, particularly better if it will be middle school onwards. Next please. Yeah, this is mostly when I'm talking about book resources for wide community. So this is our talks about immigrants, particularly Chinese who are settled in US. This is the basically historical fiction. Of course, it's mostly talks about Chinese Americans and the life. So next, please. Yeah, no, this is already done. Next. Yeah. Okay, so see, we find this kind of see there are certain top themes that we generally on we feel taboo. So this particular book, the title itself gives a very uncomfortable position to anybody. But otherwise, this particular book talks about uh, we don't have toilets generally when particularly girls when they go out when they travel mostly they don't find toilets, right? So this is based on that experience by an author written quite long ago, couple of years back. So this kind of it though it's a taboo topic, we don't find information on this kind of books. So I generally got this kind of book as well so that we'll have a different perspective. So it looks very uncomfortable for a user initially when we read that particular book, that we know it talks about topic of toilets, particularly clean toilets when we go out or when we travel. Yeah, next, please. Yeah, again, this particular is a graphic book. But Nandita Basu, she wrote a couple of books, three to four books, which are mostly graphic books, which deal with, as I wrote it here, love, loss, and friendship. So very well written book. So these are the things that we generally the reason why I shared with all these books is that these are the books that we generally talk about, themes that we talk about, particularly in an international curriculum. So I thought I will share with you these are very quickly so that you can have some idea. So I hope yeah, so done. Okay, thank you very much, and I hope it could help you in any way. So we already extended time, so it doesn't matter. So we if you can give quickly couple of minutes for Q&A. Faisal, do you think we can spend couple of
Yeah.
minutes?
We can.
If
If you
anybody has any question,
want to extend some more,
Yeah, we
that's
can have.
yeah.
yeah. If you have questions, we can extend. No problem. I don't have any problem. So, but what I'm
Yes.
trying to do is, you don't need to worry because I'm going to the resources that I shared are not extensive. I have couple of resources with me. Maybe since I'm not in school, I didn't keep that list with me. I will share couple of resources that will be useful for everybody.
Yeah.
Some of them
Thank you. Thank
useful,
you. Yes.
including research, because I didn't share most of it is related to research. We have amazing resources for those people who want to do research in the class. Very helpful tips how to do research, etc., etc., etc. So those resources I will try and then share with later in our group. So maybe that can be shared with members in the group.
Yeah. So since you are having
Yeah.
unique titles which are very useful for the school libraries, so I request you to share all these titles with the members. Okay.
Yeah, sure, no problem. No problem. No problem. That is not a big issue. I'll share with.
Yes. Yes. So I think some interesting questions are also there. Akhilaji?
Yeah, okay.
Uh, so there is one question by Jyotika Nanda Das. What do you think about the manga comics to keep in the library?
See, one thing is we can't avoid certain things. For example, manga is very popular. Very. I don't have any. If you guys give me a very good adjective, I can use that right now. But the thing
Yeah.
is, you can't avoid it. But what you can do is, for example, many kids ask me why you are not getting manga. I'll say that with one manga, I can get different kinds of books, 10 books. So do you think you want me right now get manga? Because everywhere I can see manga in the school. So I try get these kind of books only when the library is full with resources and if I can afford. But one or two, you get it. See, the thing is, you can't avoid certain things, please. Now, manga and graphic books are being taken for granted even in normal literature. So you just can't say that I can't teach, I can't get, I can't get manga to the children. I can't get David Walliam to the school. No, just can't say. Even if you are not reading, kids will read outside. For example, in my school, I see Geronimo Stilton everywhere from grade 1 to grade 12. Geronimo Stilton is there. I can't say no to
Yes.
Geronimo Stilton, but give them a rationale. Tell them, see, do you see good words here? Do you see good sentences here? I'm at this age, I need to use good sentences. I for leisure, read it. I'm not denying it, because that those are the, see, one more problem that I tell you, sir, members, that you go to any bookshop, they will keep only these books because they are saleable. You won't you go for
Mhm.
ask for a classic, they don't have. Please, you can't avoid
Yes.
that, because you go to any, see, for example, you keep book fair. Tell me how many book fair people will get good books into the school? No, because at the end of it, they want saleable books. See, for example, I don't have any thing against any publisher, but finally, at the end of it, they want to look for money, their business. Scholastic, one particular point of time has amazing resources, amazing collection. Now you go to their store, you will find only Geronimo Stilton or Dog Diaries 1, 2, 3, 4. You have a huge list, but you can't deny those books. But at the same time, being give a rationale to them when you are getting it to the school. For example, most of the international curriculum are going for these books, whether it is manga, whether it is graphic, they are using it in our regular text analysis. You can't say that you don't provide them these books and then say that ask them to do it a text analysis. It is difficult, sir. But try telling them the rationale. They will help. That will help. And kids also, if you go, but at the same time, you need to have good books in your other side. Otherwise, it is of no use. I get good books and then show them. For example, this is a good book. I read around for some time. I tell them a story. They'll get back to that particular book. But you need to have, when you are countering something, you need to have equally good resources at the other side. But at the same time, you need to see, I said, as I'm repeating, repeating, these texts are being used for analysis in their curriculum. You can't get away with it. Yeah.
So
So I
particularly
think it is of help.
yeah, graphic novels are very much popular.
Graphic is part of our text analysis. You can't avoid it. No. Yeah. Because that is also one part of medium, right? One part of communication. So though manga sometimes is violent, but it is part of your communication right now. It's a medium of reading. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And as you said, the cost is one of the main factors when we are purchasing.
Yeah.
So it's very
Yeah.
very.
Yeah. See, see, when you get 100 books of normal books, get 1 or 2 books of manga. But it has to be reasonable, please. Because, and I tell my students that I see everywhere in the school manga. So why do you want again in manga when you have already? I see everywhere.
Yeah.
You don't believe grade 5 onwards. Everybody will have a manga in the whole of all of them have sets. So,
No, there are. I
so
think
try
that,
reasoning.
there are. Yes, there are some websites which are providing this manga graphics.
No,
Books
but
as it
see,
is, they are
problem is
providing.
this. See, the problem is this. Most of these sites that we get are out of coverage of copyright, number one. Number two,
Yes,
sometimes we
yes.
don't know whether that particular source is going to eat away your
Correct.
get into your things and then do some mischief with your systems. So the problem is, see, as a librarian, I don't want to keep anything that anybody can come and then say, sir, you are a librarian, you should be knowing what is a good resource, why you are having a site which is not under copyright or anything related to that. So because I teach them ethics and then you know, so I can't take certain resources outside and even suggest. because that is not part of, because otherwise also students, most of them, they know when they are sharing which site has free PDFs, free resources, they also know. It's not that they don't know. But the only thing is,
Yeah.
I avoid doing that from library, because we need to talk about fact checking, all these fake news and all those things, and at the same time academic integrity. So I avoid sharing these things with the students or anybody for that matter.
Titiksha, you can
See,
unmute
even
and ask your
books like
question.
Yeah, Darshana.
recently saw a book written by Al
Darshana, you are, I think,
manga form.
now, in fact,
Even books
many,
like that, it is coming in that form.
yeah, I see, you don't believe now there is a huge production of manga, graphic books in India, because there's a demand for that. And people are consuming that information. So we can't avoid.
No, sir. Some books are like Sapien and all, but good books also published in
In that,
graphic
yes,
novel.
yes.
Yes, these
Even,
are we can keep
yeah,
because graphic novel I'm in my library I'm keeping, but some mangas are very useful, like physics, chemistry related mangas are there. I'm keeping all those
right.
books. So
No, but the
otherwise
thing
it's
is,
very difficult.
Titisha,
But in
the problem is that we can't censor there. That's the problem. See, I'm not saying that we are censoring, but the problem is, see, we need to be very careful when we are dealing with those kind of things.
this is what as a librarian
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have to check, read first, then we can keep in the library. So this
and
is also a big task. That is
right,
my question: how
right,
you select mangas? Because in my school this is demand, you have to bring
right,
or some like so we choose according to, first we read that book, then we choose, then only we keep, but we have to keep mangas sometimes
yeah,
for public readers, at least who doesn't read, they read mangas. So
right.
for to appreciate that non-readers, I keep mangas and
Mm.
graphic novels.
Right. So now one suggestion I always do, one suggestion I'm giving right now here, and also I also do this quite regularly. In each class, you will have a good person who will be supporting the library. There will be at least one person, even if not 90%, one person will be there in each class, supporter of library. And those people will read literally good books, and they will we can ask them what are the good books in the manga. They will give us which are the most violent ones, which are non-violent ones, which are related to subjects or anything related to that. Then we try and then have a look
Yes.
at those books, and then initially get those books, and then tell them that see, for example, there are a couple of books. See, as we were talking about graphic books, even To Kill a Mockingbird is also made into graphic book.
Yeah.
To Kill a
Even
Mockingbird, some of
Alchemy
the classics are
for that, yes.
there are certain classics which are made into graphics as well. So the point is that we can't avoid certain books, but at the same time try and then be very clear in your approach. The kids, I'm telling you, I always tell, I have problem with the adults than children. Children, they do observe and understand if you have a problem. Tell them that these are the reasons. See, for example, I give, suppose if one student is taking a graphic book, I tell them beforehand, this is going to be a difficult book, you will face problems, and I give them on the condition that if anybody objects, get back and then give me the feedback, what is the objection, so that we'll try and then resolve that issue. So there are many kids who come back and then say, sir, there are certain language which is not comfortable in my house. That's fine, no problem. But at the same time, we also need to see that the language that is used in the books are day-to-day language that is used either in their lives. Mostly the books that are outside India. I'm not talking about the books that are done in India, but the language you can't avoid, please. You can't avoid. You can't avoid certain languages. So, but the thing is, see to it that how far it is tolerated and part of our school philosophy guideline. that you need to cross check every book that is coming into your library, whether you are read it or not, because it's highly impossible to read all the books. We need to be taking care of that as a part of our weakness. We can't help it. But at the same time, try getting some information from other. See, there are lots of adults who will be there to support you. In each school, there are people who are good goers who will help us in the library. So get them some help, request them some help. They do help, definitely, particularly literature. They do. I have very good literature teachers, both Hindi and Telugu and English. They do help me out in case I have a problem. So we need to reach out, please. Yeah. Anything else?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So
you
I
can
think we are
unmute.
already past.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
So regarding digital resources also, nowadays it is a mandatory thing that we must have a digital library in schools.
Right,
So
right.
what are your suggestions regarding that digital collections? Just like you
No,
said, it
the thing
elaborately.
is this. Yeah. No, the thing is this, Faisal, that there are lots of resources which are genuine based. Probably I didn't share those resources here. For example, on archives, online archives. And there is one also very good online archives. There's the project Gutenberg, which had they have shared with online also. Maybe what we can do is we can share those resources in our website, or and I'm sorry, I'm just going a little bit away from here. In our group, we have amazing people who have developed their website. They have these blogs sharing quite regularly. Please, every member, please have a look at those websites and then blogs that they are sharing here. Amazing resources. For example, I always see Faisal's website whenever I need to see something, current. Now what happens is we can pull out those resources from there and then just give suggestions. See, for example, I tell it to the students, I give links to the children. Parents will come back and then may say, sir, we want during holidays only physical books. That's fine, no problem. And so that's the reason why I give a physical resource. But some of them, some of the kids have their own Kindles. Most of the Kindles at home, because some of them are most of my school has mostly upper middle class who are mostly from NRIs, and who has access to devices. So I give them some resources, and most of the people have Kindles, so they get most of it information online free. But otherwise, as you said, we have amazing resources, Faisal. Probably I will share maybe in group couple of days later once I put them together, how to go about and all those things. Amazing.
And,
in fact, NDLI, and you know that NDLI helps a lot, and they got amazing resources. Maybe we can
So
share
one
with
more,
the children. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
one
Faisal.
more discussion point regarding that censorship. I think that in many countries, especially in the US, and Mr. Mujib Rahman can elaborate that one. There are some policies in schools where the parents can decide what type of resources must be there in the library, school library. So they can even identify the resources. Then it can be removed from. They can should be removed, etc. Yes.
Akila, you want to say?
Sir, now, I just want to add on what Faisal sir is saying. Sir, nowadays CBSE is also insisting that we should involve all the stakeholders, including parents, in the planning and the procurement of the books.
No, but the thing is, Akila, we are already doing all these things, right? It's not that it is out of our this thing. See, what I always see is, even in terms of curriculum, I always felt that everybody, whatever somebody is saying, it's already there. See, for example, when we are doing procurement, Akila, we are not getting. See, one advantage for me is, I don't know, for whatever reason, everybody thinks that I have good knowledge about this book. They put an onus on me and then say, Arun sir, bol diya, acha book hai, no problem. But they're giving me opportunity to do that, but This is a big responsibility for me. But otherwise also, but we are doing all these things, no, Akila. See, for example, we are not just buying just like that, no. We are, for example, if we are collecting resources, we are sharing with the committee, or for example, in my school, they generally say, sir, aap hi dekh lo, sir, sab. But otherwise also, I generally share with everybody so that they will have glance at those certain things. Suppose if somebody comes and gives me a book, saying that this is a good book, sir, which is, I generally have a glance at it and then give it to a person. It's not that we are straight away giving, buying, procuring anything. No, Akila, right? We are doing it in a process. But the thing is, only thing is, advantage for us is maybe we don't have that much of censorship unless and until a parent comes back and then says that this should be avoided.
Yeah.
Then we are going to either remove or trying not to get those kind of books, right? But all these things, but unfortunately what's happening is, I'm talking about US right now, there are lots of books which have been banned, which
Yeah.
nobody said ki this is a bad book. See, that is
Yes,
extreme
yes.
case. That is an extreme case.
Even
Definitely.
classics, even
But
classics are
otherwise,
banned.
yeah. See, in fact, Stephen King's 20 books have been banned in US in couple of states. I feel ki horror, yeah. Horror be problem with.
Even
See,
some of the Roald Dahl books were also there.
see, I understand. See, what happened is Roald Dahl and Enid Blyton. At one point, what happened was, particularly if you're talking from, see, he was, he was very controversial person once upon a time, because he was part of war, etc., etc., and because of his ideology. And even Enid Blyton's books have been banned for quite long, right? So what I'm saying is, when we are doing all these things, we are straight away not doing things, but we need to keep all these things in perspective. At the same time, when we are procuring, we are not going to straight away give the list, right? We have a committee, we have a couple of members who are coming and then checking it. That will be of help for us also in one side. But at the same time, censorship to what an extent, whether it has a bad language, whether it is giving a bad orientation of certain things to the kids. What is it that that we are censoring? We need to consider. But before we do that, we need to ask people to check it on it. For example, there are parents who come to and talk to me. I tell them, did you read that particular book? What aspect you are having a problem? There are, see, in each stakeholder, we have a couple of people who are supportive to us. So we need to take responsibility on us to check and then get and go talk to them and then see. You have sent, for example, one student comes and tells me, sir, my mother didn't like it. Okay, fine. What is the reason? Is there any problem? Is it the language is bad? Is it sentence construction is? See, there are certain publications. We need to understand there are certain publications who has very bad language. Bad language in the sense, in terms of sentence construction. See, for example, I just give you one quick example. In a couple of Ladybird books, what happened is earlier, for donkey, they use a different word for earlier. As is used earlier. Now, the kid came and then showed me, sir, this is the bad word. I have to tell the kid that donkey, this word that you are using right now is earlier used as a donkey. So the language changes. See, all these things, either we should know in advance or we should try and learn. Then children will be, I'm not saying that they're happy because with our communication. No, they need to understand the language. For example, the word gay. Gay earlier is being used as happiness. Now, if I use the word gay now, people will take it offensive, right? So that as a librarian, I should be able to know, right? So if we give them the communication, see, development of languages happen. So there are certain words which need to be avoided, which need to be changed. All these things we need to check and then talk. And then give perspective to that. We just can't straight away say, I'm removing this book or I'm tearing away the book. No, that is not going to help. We need to see what is the problem, whether we can go and then try to do something about it. Right? Yeah, I think it's of help. So I think, Faisal, I will give some resources later. Slowly, I have compilation already. I need to pull it out and then cross-check and then share it. Maybe for digital resources, you can keep it in our these things, no problem. And there are certain publications.
Yeah. So in between,
Yeah,
I would like to
any
ask you some, do you have any tips to bring the teachers in this process? Just like nowadays, we are
yes,
having some
definitely.
committees in the schools, but anyway, the committees
Right.
are just like they are going and selecting books, but the teachers are not connecting with it. Collaboration is not happening in many schools. So what
So
you are
see,
doing in
one thing,
any suggestions?
yeah.
Yeah.
See, Faisal, what happens is this: we need to understand, teachers are also burdened with so many things,
Yes.
right? So best thing is what I generally do is I generally ask teachers, if not all, send one representative from your department. See, for example, grade 3 is coming. I ask, if you are not coming, everybody, let one person join me. I'll say what time you have. 1 hour time है, 1 hour में कितना ढूंढ सकते हो ढूंढ लो. Varna, give some books. See, there might be some representative titles from each book. Get those books. I'm not saying that sample. If you have a good publisher who can help you in getting those books, take 1 or 2 books and then give them. Give 1 month, 2 months. Try and then reminding them once in a while. Or when they come to library, put in front of them and then say, ma'am, I need this perspective. So I have a problem with this book. See, it's highly impossible for them to come and then sit with us and then do that work.
Yeah.
Give onus on them by giving them resources to them, right? Or,
Yes, sir.
for example, once in a while, what I do is I put everybody together. कितने लोग आते हैं? 7 members are that fine. I book a cab or we have school vehicle. Take them for whatever bookshop I have hold, and I tell them ki I have only 1 hour. Let teachers come and then go. We will do background work later. So teachers come and then pick them up quickly and then give it. Or else they'll have some teachers will have good titles with them. Ask them to share. So now what I do is every year I'll share from September onwards, I share a link. Put whatever you enjoy doing it. And I'll cross check with them and then get those titles. So the problem comes when we say that we want in our way. The thing is, in what way they are helpful to us, try getting that strategy. See, for example, if they come for a reference in the library, they have 5 minutes. Take 1 minute if you can hold for a minute. Try any. There is no definitive this thing, Faisal, because teachers are burdened not only with their day-to-day work, apart from that administrative work. So it's also highly impossible to grab their attention. But try getting in whatever way it is possible, either by mail, give any way of communication. Whether they say WhatsApp में ठीक है मैम WhatsApp में भेजो, नोट पे छोटा नोट पे दे दो, नोट पे दे दो, रजिस्टर में लिखते हैं लिख दे दो. So whatever
Yes,
it is, the way possible, try getting it.
So can I share something in our school?
Yes, please.
Every teacher has put, actually we decided, we tried all these things, but teacher doesn't get time to come to the library.
Right.
So what we have done in our school, in the timetable itself, every teacher get one class free for library, and it is mentioned as teacher enrichment period in the library.
That solves all the problem, most of the problem at least.
But no, they come. They love to come because they said ki we want to come, but we don't get free time.
Right.
When they are assigned, now teacher are coming and
when
even
it is,
they like
it is the part of the timetable they will come here.
Right. So they do come. See, now what happens is you suggested to the school management and kept on telling from ages only primary 1 or 2 teachers they will come. Seniors, some of them will come. So what happens is try and then suggest this, Titiksha. You are doing you have got a very good opportunity.
Principal also help me because they put in the library 80% teacher they want to come, but
they don't
they don't get a time slot and they are busy somewhere. But when there is it is fixed in the timetable, they can come easily. So 20% they don't come, but by compulsion they come. I know them, ma'am. Please mark me present, because this is my principal. What they have done, what she has done, she told Titiksa, please mark present or absent in front of the all teacher. So some 20% teacher come and say like, please mark my present. I'm in the library. Well, no, sir, you have to read something, then only mark you. This is some policy from the school. They supported me. but
Mm.
it works. But
Mhm.
at least some teacher really wants to come, they don't get time.
Right.
So now they are coming, and this is something really works. That is why I'm sharing.
Right, definitely. See,
Mm.
what happens is,
Right.
we tried this only in middle school. Certain classes, teachers used to come get them, and then see at the same time, what happened is I can't be very strict in certain areas, Faisal, because it is going to spoil the communication process. So when we
Yeah.
badly need of some help, that time it cuts across. So what happens is, for example, Titiksha got a very good support, then it works. In my school, some teachers come, some teachers don't come, but I try to take advantage of that. Say ki, okay, you give me some suggestions, I will try avoid getting into trouble.
Mhm.
So somewhere you need to manipulate certain things.
Yeah, correct, correct.
So you can't
So,
expect 100% results
Yes,
in that. Yeah.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
some suggestions regarding the collection development about magazines or periodicals also.
Right. Right. No,
Yeah.
periodicals, what happens is, unfortunately, getting into physical form in terms of getting them regularly is a problem for any organization. Have seen it in universities, I've seen it in organizations, in general organizations. I see it in schools as well. See, what happens is, if you have a vendor in your particular place, for example, vendor, there are certain places who got very good. See, for example, if it is Delhi, Mumbai, you have a prescribed vendors, so you can catch hold of them and then they'll use it. See, for example, unfortunately, what happened in Hyderabad is we don't have publishers now, we don't have vendors now, we don't have anybody related to books or literature. I'm sorry to say that. I don't know why. What is the problem? We leave it at apart. Now, what happens is there are certain vendors who will try and then get these things together. Maybe you can take all of, for example, in my place, there is one guy who gets certain periodicals regularly. For example, Harvard Business Review, or Reader Digest, something like that. No, so there are certain popular magazines which those kind of people will get in regularly. And otherwise we have online also, there are a couple of people who do good job. I have seen couple of them doing it regularly. And Hindi also, for example, Hindi, I subscribe to Pustak Samskruti. They do regularly send. See, what happened is in subscription also, if you get a list also, I don't mind, I'll share with them. There are lots of resources outside. Now, for example, Pustak, see, there are lots of magazines. What they do is, for regular subscription, which what happens is they send normal post. So normal post, it may lose out. So they will have register post or speed post, wherein you will have guarantee that you will get it. So for that, you need to spend a little bit higher amount for shipping charges. So that way I try getting it using shipping charges added. Otherwise, if it is normal postage, you may not get it. So
Now I think the
even
book post is already stopped. Yeah, book post system is stopped now.
yeah, book post is gone, no? It is scrapped. It's scrapped.
Yes, yes.
It's gone. Yeah.
Scrapped. Yeah.
So it is very difficult to get. So some magazines, they do go for courier charges. Sometimes go for see, for example, National Book Trust and Children Book Trust. Either they go for register post or speed post, for which we need to bear the charges. I bear for this magazine subscription along with speed post charges, so that you will get it pakka.
Mm-hmm.
So normal subscription sometimes is very difficult unless and until you are in a good place.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything
So
else?
any more questions? Yeah. Yes.
So I think if it is fine, then thank you very much.
Yeah.
I hope.
Sir, just one question. While you were talking about the manga books and other things about language, Geronimo and all. So as librarians, what do you think? It's our moral responsibility. Like you said, you be rational, tell the students, right? So just because it is in demand, irrespective of whether the language is suitable or not, are we helping them in improving their communications? Okay. So don't you think it's our moral responsibility as librarians to not just sensitize the kids, but also the school authorities, why, or even parents, like, why we are not opting such books? So what do you have to say about that?
No, but the thing is this, Nina, I always see, for example, I always talk to anybody who I talk. I am 8-year-old. I am current to 6-year-old person to 60-year-old person in my school.
Hmm.
Unless and until I am current in terms of everything,
Hmm.
everything is included current.
Correct.
Whether it is literature, see, you can't avoid Nina, you can't avoid Geronimo Stilton, you can't
No,
avoid
you can't.
Dark
We
Fairies,
can't.
you can't avoid manga, you can't avoid other literature that is existing.
Hmm.
Even if you are not giving, kids do get it.
Yes, that
They have
obviously.
their own ways.
Yes.
But the point is, try and then sensitize them in certain, for example, there are certain books
Hmm.
which out of curiosity children read. For
Yes.
example, I have seen number of times across generations, they get a dictionary, you check it inside
Yes.
meaning and all those. I
Hmm.
tell them very clearly, there are certain things which we need to get according to the age.
Correct.
You read them right now out of curiosity, it looks nice, but it is not going to give you full-fledged knowledge. See, for example, I talk in terms of outside things, like for example, if your teacher tells you trigonometry, do you
Hmm.
think you will get it? No,
No.
sir. You go to 9th standard, trigonometry is a part of your classroom. If your teacher tells you, you will understand more. Then you will come and read trigonometry as a part of your library. You'll enjoy it more, no? You
Hmm.
try and give them examples outside their classroom, but it is related to classroom, but outside their syllabus. Then they will understand. Kids are far more sensitive, but out of curiosity, certain kids do it. You can't take responsibility of moral purpose in terms of everything. It's very highly difficult. But within our reach, wherever our site is going, keep track of it. Kids are very good, but you should have pakka knowledge about what you are talking to the children. For
That's what
example,
updating ourselves.
see, for example, if I show them, see, I ask them, show me the book. Do you think this language, if we use in the classroom, if at home, do you think our parents will enjoy it? They'll say no. Then what is the point? But for your entertainment, read it. But it is not going to go here, because I tell them, you go to 9th and 10th, you have a text analysis where a full text is given to you in the part of exam. Unless and until it is graded, you won't get marks, you will fail, right? I don't use fail, but I say that you don't get good marks. For that, you need to read good text. That will only possible when you are reading every day. Whether it is in grade 1, you read words. When you go to grade 5, you read more sentences, chapter books. When you go to grade 6 and 7, you will have a reading program book given extra for you, where it is everything is included. I tell them everything. For example, reading program book comes. Why is it that reading program is given? What is the purpose of it? We need to spend, it should not be your lecturing piece. There's a difference. It should not be lecturing point. It should be, like there is a circumstance. You take it that granted and then use that purpose. Then kids will enjoy it. But you can't avoid reading. They read. But tell them you're reading 5 normal text books. I will give you 1 manga. Something like that. Some order you maintain.
Keeping options, huh?
Option, give them option, but at the same time, you have to have wide variety of books which will be entertaining for them.
Hmm.
Otherwise, they won't listen to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like in a circulation
Yes.
way, like this time you go for this set of book, next time we'll go for this.
Try giving them similar kind of books which will be entertaining for them.
Yeah.
And the minute that student takes the book out, everybody should be after him. Are mujhe chahiye tha, mujhe chahiye tha. You look it, something kind of some curiosity you create.
Yes.
Then definitely it works out. But see, we can do only to a certain extent. We can't be moral policemen.
No, we can't. I think somewhere like when PTMs are there, even if you're like, because if you don't have those books in the library, definitely they parents will get them. So somewhere, sensitizing the parents is also important.
I told you, difficult with parents. But I'm telling you, if see, you need to be very resourceful person where parents should also come back to you and then talk to you about those.
Yes,
And
yes.
you don't believe, whenever I meet parents, they'll say, okay, sir, I've seen only first time a person who's reading 200 books per annum.
Yeah, great.
I mean, so see, this also helps in my profession. So
Exactly.
you need to give that thing.
Yeah, that's what I said. Once, because I have tried this when I've told like Geronimo, when they go crazy, even during book fair, I take at least one page of then show the parents that just go through this book and the other book and just see which is going to help your child if you really want your child to improve their
Right.
language
Right.
or communication. So
And
then when they understand as a leisure time, or when you think you're very stressed out, you want something entertaining, fine, but not always.
Yeah, every year during holiday season, I give them resource book list, suggestion list. I always tell them it is a suggestion. It is not compulsory. They'll comment and say, "Sir, ye book nahi mil raha hai." So don't worry about the title. You see what is the point that I gave you the book.
Yeah.
So give them one or two regular books. Apart from it, wide variety of books. And when you have a book fair, those of you have a book fair, take the opportunity, tell the vendor that I want more good books, and I don't mind if you are keeping Geronimo Stilton, but try keeping the number less, because finally it is for him, it is a business.
Correct.
Right. For that reason only, I always ask a book fair to come into the school. It's not for business. For me to show them these are the varieties of books that are available. Yeah.
So this is very important that because summer vacation is also coming. So you can share the template that you are using to give suggestions.
I generally use whatever that comes in mind, but otherwise I generally share with whatever the way.
So you just simply share what you are doing. Yeah.
Maybe I'll start using a template. That will be good idea.
I think, Faisal sir, like the reading Olympiad is there. You know, we have online reading Olympiad. We can think of like Arun sir has those collections. Everybody, including every librarians, as librarians, we are all doing some reading activities at school. So compiling that, we can have a reading, like, you know, when it comes like book week or World Copyright Day, we can opt for some reading Olympiad type where we, you know, for 3 months we give 40 or 30 to 40 number of books with titles where they read, and they're tracked also. The children, whether they're reading or not, something like that can help keep a track of.
See,
and
that's
also
what
your
I'm saying.
children.
See, each school has their own certain things, wherein children will like certain books, certain way of doing things. And each one has to go for it, but I only shared with general ones that will be of help. So I will generally share the books that are very good for any curriculum. Doesn't matter those books. So I'll share, no problem. I'll keep sharing.
Yeah, one final question from my side. So normally in our libraries, we see that the variety of collections, and because a lot of issues are there, and the collection should be comprehensive and it should reflect each and every aspect of the society. And there should be collections, there should be the resources from each and every sector of the society, irrespective of religion, caste, tribe, etc., etc. So the collection should reflect whatever the society is. So we have to think in that side also, because most of the school libraries are having a particular set of collections, only reflecting one side of the society, and the other side is neglected, etc., etc. So I think that when we are creating a dynamic resource, means collection for the library, we should reflect each and every corner or each and every people of the society in the collection also. Their literature must be there in our collection. Isn't it?
Right. Now, yeah. So now, Faisal, I have little bit of more things to say here. See, what you said is very good, but the problem is that, see, as a librarian, we have certain limitations. See, for example, I will talk about one. See, I always talk to people who are using ERP. I'm fed up with these vendors. You know, vendors only want to give their get away with their product, but they don't use certain things. Like, for example, I tell you, Follett is a they have a card Destiny. There's Destiny. There's a software called Destiny. What
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said right now, this comprehensive thing. Now, what they do is in US, what happens is they have districts, no. So what they do is for each district they will give their thing. So see, for example, if I am my library has 100 titles. Suppose if you are part of that Destiny user, then you also share your titles. Like it's your our what is that earlier world catalog was there, no,
Yeah,
world cat
yeah, yes,
OCLC,
yes, yes.
something like that. Now, what happens is this will compare your resources with the general resources that are should be available in US, because this is mostly used in US. So
Yeah,
that will compare that and then show you that Faisal, your library is lacking books on well-being. Your books
yes, yes.
collection is having less books on SEL, something like that.
Mm.
So what happened
Mm-hmm.
is, see, if that kind of mechanism, because that our catalog should help us in that sense,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right? But
definitely. We should
unfortunately,
remove the gaps. Yeah.
so we don't have a good catalog system. I'm not talking about catalog.
Mhm.
I'm working
Yes, yes.
on the software that we use it in our library that should help all these things.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
unfortunately, we don't have a good. See, I see
Mhm.
Destiny thing. You don't believe they have a chat on regularly on their site. I see there's
Mhm.
people do amazing things by using their own collection, not from outside. Because
Yeah.
the collection, see, how many books you will remember? Tell me. Suppose if your school has
Mhm.
10,000 books, how many cover
Mhm.
titles you will remember? How many areas you will remember? Suppose if
Mhm.
your system is helping you, it will help
Yes,
you
yes.
in doing more things. See, unfortunately, in India, I didn't see any software that
Yeah,
is
you
of
are very
that
right.
help.
Very right. So
So
there
maybe
must
we
be a
should
technical.
try and then do it.
Yeah, this
See, what
type of
happened is,
technology is there. Yeah.
see, the thing is,
Then we can
more
easily build the gap in between. Yeah.
fill the gaps. So, for example, if you give them your areas, see, for example, we don't have any good books on culture. It will say you
Mhm.
don't have culture related aspects. You don't have South Indian culture. You don't have. Suppose if you are part of Deccan, you'll say you don't have anything related to Urdu, like that. So technology should be able to help us in locating certain problems in our collection.
Collection. Yeah,
So
it's
and
very, very
we
important. Very,
do
very
it.
important.
Yeah. So, but one good thing is, Faisal, that we are getting lots of good books in various aspects of culture. In all,
Mhm.
I've seen mostly in Puffin. Mostly Puffin. Many authors are coming up in writing
Yeah.
about travel related, festivals
Yes.
related
And
of
there are
different culture.
small publishers, not
Hmm,
only the big corporate
hmm,
publishers, they are not so much eager to publish all these things, but there are small
right. But
publishers
there are
from here and there.
publishers.
Yeah.
So now I see DC publications in Kerala, amazing collection they got. They do
Mm-hmm.
amazing
Easy.
work. Mm.
Okay.
So see, maybe our technological aids should be of some help in looking for those kind of loopholes. I'm not saying loopholes in that sense. What we lack,
Yeah,
what we need to add, probably. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
So any
Sorry,
more
sorry to
questions?
interrupt you, sir. I
Yes,
want to say
Yes,
something.
yeah, Sarvesh.
yes, yes,
Sarvesh,
please.
please.
Sir, actually, there is a problem while filling up the feedback form.
Uh,
Person named Jagdish Gunawat. The
okay,
name is too long in the Google form.
okay.
One lady or gents, I don't know.
Mm.
He is putting his name in regional language.
Oh, oh, oh.
Oh,
So maybe we can ask for Faisal. Maybe you
Many
can.
of them,
yes, yes,
people
yes.
are not filling the email ID correctly.
Okay,
And it is very difficult for me. So I am
right.
trying to interrupt you
No,
in
no, no,
between
no,
of this
please, please.
seminar.
This is also important. This is also so
It's very
probably
important. Yeah.
members.
And
Please,
then they, Miss
yeah.
Neelam Chauhan, she is not putting her email ID.
Okay.
And how is it possible for me to send the certificates?
Yeah. So please,
Yeah, yeah,
members,
please.
please try filling the details properly according to, and please try and then give it in English, because we haven't improved to that level where we can use it in
श्रद्धा
other
चिल्ड्रंस
language.
अकेडमी
Yeah.
की है मैम वो
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
मैम है क्या श्रद्धा चिल्ड्रंस अकेडमी की है
Mhm.
So please
Yeah,
try and then
thank you.
fill the details in a minimum way so that you will get certificates without any hassle. Yeah. Yeah, I think we are good,
Yes.
Faisal.
Yeah, yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anything? Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank you so much, sir, for these
Thank you very much.
ready reckoner and easy handy tools for developing the dynamic collection for our school libraries to making it more vibrant learning hubs. Thank you so much, sir, for these really valuable insights. And a very big heartfelt thanks to all the lovely participants who join us today for this, to make this evening more learning and more enrichment and more enrichment. Thank you so much. And I'm really grateful for SLA to organizing such a lovely, wonderful screening of the sharing and caring learning atmosphere. Please stay with us. We will be sharing the slide for our next webinar coming on 1st Feb.
By sharing, what happens is I also learn. See, I got lots of ideas right now. Maybe I'll try and then use them. Yeah, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Thank you.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah,
So please, this is a humble request to all the members. Kindly register for this valuable session that SLA is planning to host on Saturday, February 1st. That is the title of the webinar is Many Ways of Book Publishing.